Shoot, I gotta grab my notes.
It's a great way to start.
All my notes are on my laptop, so
That's okay. That's the beauty of recording.
Yes.
Because I don't take any notes. I just listen to the video the day of, and that's how I prepare.
My last note just says Cordelia is mine now.
That's ominous.
she's on loan. I don't know if you want to mess with a 12-year-old and her favorite toy.
All right. Who would like to catch us up? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was going to ask. I was telling
Andrew
Georgina,
wants me to read my notes.
her notes are pretty detailed.
I try.
Who would like to catch us up then, Georgina?
Sure, I can catch us up. We started in the trunk market after the fight and met up with the the council were there and the speaker was there, the grumpy one that Mrs. Q doesn't like, and they were trying to like organize the fallout. And then the captain of the Perch Guard decided he wanted to go on a manhunt for the bandits without the speaker's permission, which didn't go down very well. We agreed to go to the Crest Mountains to try and talk to the general of the bandits, whose name is Ceridian, who's a servant. And we planned to head out in the morning after meeting with the speaker and in the magistrate's office. And then myself and Cam went with Basil to the Bright Hollows to look for Basil's siblings and family, and we found them. And then we met Anna, who was the servant that was living with them and looking after Basil's parents.
So Arna is a corvum, just as a heads up, birdfolk.
Oh, you're right. I can't read my writing.
That's okay.
Cam, I don't know what this means. Cam has a side convo, but neither Basil nor I notice.
Has a side conversation
they
with
know each other.
You don't need to know.
Yes, the sister, yes.
Basil gives his family all of his gold. Cam stays behind and tells Tarragon that he should never have listened to him, and that he died because of his advice, and this is the last time that he will see him. But we didn't hear that. So, yeah. And then we took a long rest, and Apoc had a dream about a white spider, and Cam had a dream about a painting. And here's some words that I didn't write down.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty good. Yeah, it's
we all
definitely
leveled up to level 5.
Yep,
No.
level 5.
No.
Okay.
Nice try. You should all be level 4. All of your things picked, hit points set, spells chosen, all that fun stuff. I have not looked at what you picked because it has been a wild week, 2 weeks since our last session. So I'm trusting you all, and I will find out if something is incorrect. But yeah, it was a bit of a political episode last episode, and we've ended with a tentative agreement to have the now six of you, head to the Crest Mountains to try and find the bandit hideout and speak with the bandit general. The speaker of the Birdfolk Council, Speaker Bidda, the white peahen, has made an arrangement with you to have this sent out, and you took a night of rest after some drama. You took a night of rest. I believe with Cam, Apoc, and Elle all staying in the same room, we'll pick up with Elle and Cam being woken up by Apoc's scream, one from a very restful night, the other from a not so restful night.
I screamed again.
Keep it down.
Just a spot to pick up, that's all. Unless you choose to go back to sleep.
We're not all in the same room, are we?
No.
No.
I think after Elle gives Cordelia to Apoc to sleep, I think she kind of nests a little bit closer just to kind of just watch him, make sure he's okay. But Elle wakes up relatively early, probably before anyone else, and kind of goes on her morning routine. Whether or not anyone's awake for that, but you'd see her get up and kind of just find a quiet space to face the wall, and she's going to meditate and commune with the wind. But unless
Okay.
anyone's awake, no one would really notice this or hear anything that's going on.
I mean, is Apoc and Cam an early riser at all?
No, I'd be fast asleep. Trying to like catch up on some Z's after having a terrible night's sleep. So unless you wake him up early, he's probably sleeping.
No, she would do her best to stay quiet.
Is commune with the wind any type of feature in specific?
Nope, just something that she does.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at this, the hotel that everyone has been staying at is up in the very top canopy market. So looking up from the canopy market, you can kind of see like the bluish sky poking through. The tree of Alderheart is huge and massive, and you're almost at the very tippy top.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very easy for you to kind of connect, feeling the gentle sway of the like living petrified tree of Alderheart beneath you as the wind kind of pushes it side to side, ruffles your feathers just a little bit in the hotel room in your corner, and gives you just a little bit of extra comfort before you set out for your day.
And as I'm trying to find an answer to something, and I'm trying to connect with the wind, and even being up here in the trees, I'm having a harder time finding what I need. So Elle has slept well, but she's a little grumpy. She's got one of those kid like hangover mornings where it's just there was so much that happened yesterday that she's just
The 12-year-old who didn't get a nap.
yeah, basically.
That's fair. Yeah. But as the sun starts to rise a little bit more in the sky, you can all come to in the morning. Unless there's anything you want to do, you likely meet up down in the continental breakfast. Is there anything you want to do at the open of today? You
Mrs.
notice it's a little quiet compared to the past couple days.
Is the kitchen just off of the breakfast room?
Yeah, it's like your hotel kitchen where it's like the double door is kind of tucked away so it's not super obvious. The buffet tables are like set in front of the doors so no one accidentally wanders there thinking it's the bathroom kind of situation.
Sneak into the kitchen
Um,
because it's someone else's kitchen.
Mrs. Q, assuming that the cooks in the kitchen are okay with it, would have come down just a smidge earlier than everyone else and asked to borrow the kitchen for a little bit of time.
With enough persuading, everyone's a little bit shaken, but your face they've seen a couple times before. Yeah, I would say they would probably have allowed you. It's a higher end hotel, but they're not going to leave the kitchen completely. You're kind of working alongside them so they can keep an eye on you even though you are there.
That's totally fine. Mrs. Q, assuming that she was able to do this like, I don't know, an hour or so before.
Sure.
Up. You just see Mrs. Q like bustle out of the kitchen with a little like wrapped package that she like has sticking out of her apron, and she sits down for breakfast.
All right. All right. Was there anything else anyone wanted to do at breakfast?
In both?
Make two. And then I think everyone
Stuff a couple. If it's a continental breakfast, I'll stuff a couple extra rations, or like the banana or the apple from the breakfast bar for our journey. Maybe like a muffin or two, just to like make sure we've got food for the trip.
It's exactly what my grandmother used to do. And Georgina.
Same person. Dace.
We called it Brits abroad. It was the thing that like British people do when they have a free breakfast. They just like stuff a bunch of buns in their handbag for lunch, even though you're not supposed to do it. Yeah.
Amazing.
So, Mrs. Q is like wholeheartedly behind Cam's decision to sneak a few snacks into his bag.
Perhaps unknowingly, as he utilizes for the first time, I'm assuming his brand new gloves. No? All right. That's fine.
Oh yeah, I have them on. I for sure have them
Oh,
on.
you have them on? Yeah, no contest. You can absolutely stuff your pockets full of rolls.
Elle will see Cam do this and kind of do the same thing, just kind of mimicking, but really not as stealthy.
Amazing.
The other thing she does is kind of pester Apoc about what's in his thermos.
Do you want to see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, I just crack open the lid and try it.
She's gonna drink it.
I just pour a glass into the lid for her. Wait 1 second. I gotta roll.
Oh,
You have to roll?
Yeah, I have to roll.
What are you rolling for?
I just forget what I. Just to make sure. No, it's fine. It was a 2. So on a 1, it doesn't pour.
Oh, what an interesting item.
I thought you were rolling for what happens when you give 12-year-old coffee.
I was gonna say
No, on a 1, it refuses to dispense coffee for an hour.
that's amazing.
Just-
So you do have a little cup in front of you. You go to take a drink. Because you're just a kid, and I don't assume coffee is quite rare here in Humblewood, I'm gonna get you to make a constitution check.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I'm not good at that.
A 3. It tastes really gross, but man, you were grumpy this morning, but you don't feel grumpy anymore. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be awesome. You're going to have a great time.
Hey, let me know if you want more. The stuff's good, right?
She makes a face, and then there's a spew of words out of her mouth that you really can't even decipher. But the general gist of what she's saying is like, this is pretty good.
Perfect. This is going to be awesome.
I just take a swig as well. Just kickstart the day. It's gonna be good.
Amazing. Basil or Dace, anything to start off your day?
Not. I think from Dace's perspective, seeing Cam and everyone try to sneak in food, he'll just try to eat it faster so they don't.
So everyone tries to steal the food. Dace just tries to store it in his stomach.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, what is like Dace's go-to breakfast food?
Oh, I don't even know. It's everything. It's just a buffet. Everything's a buffet.
I'm guessing eggs with the most protein.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think.
But isn't that cannibalism?
Oh, Sean.
that's true.
Whew.
We used to feed Tango little bits of egg. He loved it.
It doesn't change it.
True. Now we're back on the track of cannibalism.
It's not like
Yep.
it's not like they're serving stout
Dennis.
eggs. There's strig eggs.
Are you getting flashbacks to your talk with Lachelle about?
I was like, this conversation sounds so familiar.
We have
Would you
brought-
eat the foot? No.
we have got a conversation with several people since that time because we think it's very funny.
Oh my gosh.
Their verdict, is it?
They ate the foot.
Sean will tell you. I'm not gonna.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Eric will.
It
Anyways.
doesn't seem like a conversation that I need to know about.
No, you really don't. It makes your life worse. Anyways, Basil, anything you would do?
I'm thinking Sir Basil being like invigorated from his night's sleep, and then also having had that whole interaction with his family after so long. He's just like feeling like super focused and like wanting to make them proud. He's just like sitting there and maybe like polishing his sword or his helmet, just ready to like start the day, start the mission.
Perfect. All right. So with your pockets full of rolls and danishes and all the other like little like 2-bite things that you get at a continental breakfast, tummy's full. You realize as you walk out of the hotel, Elle, you got up quite early and it is still quite early. The banners are still up from the festival yesterday. The colors of Ardea and Titan still kind of like gently swaying in the very gentle wind that kind of moves through the canopy market. But it is dead. You see a couple perch guard here and there, fully armored. They look exhausted as you pass them. You see a few people who are out, running from shop to shop, just running in, staying, and then running back out to their next stop if they absolutely need to. A few shops are even closed. Eliza's shop is kind of closed and locked, curtains drawn. It looks very tidy. The windows are nice and clean, but for right now, it seems shuttered, as well as a couple of the others here in the Canopy Market. Even the hotel staff, you notice that there are some very broad, very big, humble folk who are actually standing, flanking the door as you walk out of the tavern. Just kind of like giving a nod, looking intently at the group of you as you leave for the day. Just sort of standing guard.
Mm.
Where are you guys headed?
Guess to the magistrate's office. I think we were supposed to meet the speaker there this morning.
That's right. But then take it out, right?
Yeah, I thought we were heading to the band. I thought we already talked to him.
I thought we had to go through the magistrate, though, right? It was the one exit out of the city that wouldn't raise suspicion.
Yeah, I think they were supposed to take us there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you do remember from yesterday that the speaker had requested you meet her at the magistrate's office this morning. Yeah. So as you kind of make your way back you need to go up to the upper ring. You notice that true to her word, the elevators have been shuttered. Before, the elevators of Alderheart were built into the outside of the rim of the trunks. They were these big kind of open rectangles with the gears, half of which is kind of built out of the wood or carved out of the wood of Alderheart itself, the other half being more mechanical, like a metal chain around wooden gears. And from your times being on the elevators, they are brought up and down by magic, essentially, by someone who stays in the elevator and knows how to adjust and will the elevator up and down throughout the tree. As you look towards where the elevator to be in the Canopy Market on the northwestern side, you can see that overnight it looks like someone has shaped the tree of Alderheart, as malleable as it is, so that instead of a large opening where the elevator lies, it is now a solid sheet of wood, undifferentiated from the rest of the trunk, with the exception of two slits where you can still see gears. But it seems to be quite shuttered. Oh, good luck, Dennis. It seems to be shuttered. So you are stuck taking the stairs early this morning as you wind your way around to the very top of Alderheart, back in the council square. And as you get there, before there used to be a lot of tourists who are looking around, viewing the Colosseum that the council works out of, viewing the headquarters of the Perch Guard and the magistrate. There is nobody here. The council chambers have been kind of the same. The doors where they were once double doors, you see that the seam has been almost removed to have just a solid piece of wood on hinges.
Mm.
You can see there are a presence of Perch Guard here posted outside the magistrate's office. But as for the Perch Guard headquarters, there is no one bustling in and out. Nothing you're used to seeing. And as you walk up to the magistrate's office, the Perch Guard, both with a huge glaive, kind of standing ready, fully armored, as opposed to their ornamental uniform that you're used to seeing them in, kind of regard all of you You're the group then?
We're the group.
Wait here. And they kind of poke open the door just a little bit, speak to someone on the other side, and shut the door again, staring at all of you. Yep. Moment that passes, another moment, a couple minutes. And then you hear footsteps coming from the other side of the door as the guards are just drilling into you, watching your every move, every ruffle of a feather. And you see the door open once more to the Speaker Bitta on the other side. She kind of regards you all, puts a hand to signal the lowering of the weapons. Come, this way. And bustles back down the hallway of the magistrate's office. The guards move their glaives out of the way, kind of regarding you as you pass them before closing the door very, very quickly after the last person, so that your tail like almost gets caught in the door. That's how fast they close it. Most of you have tails, I think. And as you follow the speaker back up the staircase to the magistrate's office once more, you have not had good experiences in this office, but he looks like he was able to get the stain out of the floor where you dropped the spider's head at one point. And he is kind of sitting, one hand, eyes sort of drooping on his desk. And as you walk in, straightens up his robes. Before they were pristine. Now you can see that they are quite crinkled. Doesn't look like he had much sleep last night.
Mm.
The speaker ushers you in. You see a few other guards kind of posted around, one of them posted inside. And as the door shuts behind you, all right, thank you all for coming. We're going to send you on your way out of this entrance here, but you have to, we have some information for you. Are you sure you're coming as well?
So Elle's just kind of, she's almost actually floating. You can kind of see she's just playing with gusts of wind. Again, she's kind of aware of what's going on, but not quite. She doesn't quite understand the gravity of the situation right now.
That's fair.
I feel like Elle just doesn't understand gravity right now.
Oh,
The gravity of the situation. I think she grasps gravity pretty well. She just really likes the wind.
yeah.
Mrs. Q pipes up and says, we have good reason to believe that she will be a very good addition to our party.
She's so young.
We were all young once.
I mean, she's young, she's old. It kind of balances out.
Together, you make a middle-aged person. Well, fine. I can't stop you, so okay. And come here. I told you the general's name, Ceridian. That's all we really know about her. But take a look. And in front of you, she kind of gestures to a huge map of Humblewood that has been laid out on the magistrate's desk as he sort of stands and moves, kind of rubbing his eyes. So we believe that the bandits are hiding in the north side of the crest. So from here at Alderheart, you want to travel. I have to pull up the map. Sorry, Steph.
That's okay.
You want to travel to the northeast. As I pull up my map.
If I search up Humblewood map, would that be uniform or is this?
So it's on the campaign page at this link here, Dennis. Oh, thanks, Eric.
Thank you. Gotcha.
It's on the northernmost side. They tried to keep close to Alderheart as they can, away from the Scorched Grove. At least that's what we know. And the mountains haven't really been chartered. They're complicated and difficult to cross. We believe, from what other bandits have told us, that they're at least on this side of the crest. So you shouldn't have to cross the mountains in order to get there. And as the speaker is talking, if you look at the image Eric sent, right where it says Crest Mountains, the banner, that's the area she's relatively pointing to. Just for some context.
Okay.
Now we know up to basically the base of the mountain, you're going through rough territory. The forest north of Alderheart has not been tamed, has not been tracked, has not been mapped out like the rest of Humblewood. But it's going to take about 5 days to get there. Are you equipped enough? Okay, I'll take that as a yes. But there are no roads where you're going.
Say it, somebody say it.
I heard it and it still came out of my mouth. So you're going to have to be careful. You asked for a cart last time. We can't really provide you with that unless you really want one, but it's going to be rough going in the forest. Do you need any weapons, any supplies?
I think
Food.
I don't know how much food we actually have right now. So probably, I think Mrs. Q would ask for like rations for everybody.
You see the speaker kind of take that in and gesture to one of the guards who's still in the room, who just ducks out. And you can hear him padding away.
Are there potions in Humblewood, or are we just talking about like food and water?
There's Tabitha's shop, the Diagonal Alley. God, I need to get better at names. I'm not sure if she was one of the shops opened or not today. I know a lot of owners have chosen to stay closed. We can have someone run and try and find a potion for you if you prefer.
I don't know about you guys, but I think Alderheart's in bad enough sorts. We don't need to raid them anymore.
We're not raiding them. We're doing them a favor.
And Tabitha already gave me all these potions, and I just like open up my pouch, and you guys see like 5 or 6 potions on a rack, all next to each other, just different colors.
We got a master chef that could make us any food we need, so.
You know what? I took a course in school too about foraging in the mountains. I'm pretty good at it.
Excellent. Then we will be just fine.
Spider soup.
Yay.
Growth. All right. So are there any other questions? Do you need here? And she rolls up the map and she will hand you the map so that you actually do now have a legit map of Humblewood.
Who's carrying the map? Just out of curiosity.
Whoever grabs it first, she's just gonna hold it out.
Mrs. Q.
Oh, too late. Cam's got it.
Cam took it.
Okay.
I'll roll you for it.
No, okay. I trust you to hold it probably. I ask the speaker, do we have anything that we could bargain with?
You mean to the general?
Mm-hmm. A sign of goodwill or something like that.
She thinks for a moment. We have tried to get in contact with her. None of our messages came back. Just let her know that we want this solved. We're both fighting for the same thing. We're just going about it different ways.
You guys have any prisoners of theirs?
I was going to say we do have prisoners that are being kept here, yes. We we will absolutely release them. I mean, we're not going to hurt them, but we can't release them back to banditry. They'll just raid us again. We need a sit down. Neutral ground if she wants.
How many
If she wants
prisoners
to come here, she'll be welcomed here safely, undercover. We can set something up in Bracken Mill.
Would you go there? What if she doesn't want to come?
I can't guarantee I can make a trip to the mountains. You do remember the speaker is quite old. She kind of like grabs her wrist once more. That was bandaged last night, but thanks to Elle, a bandage is no longer needed today. I prefer to take roads. Bracken Mill is the town farthest to the east, if she prefers to meet there. The time is of the essence here. Oh, magistrate, you have something. And you can see her kind of remember the magistrate, shuffles around some papers and pulls out a bound piece of parchment that's been wrapped around, essentially just like a twig, kind of wrapped around and around and around. He hands it to the speaker, and she kind of looks and is going to hand it to Mrs. Q in this case. Time is of the essence. You are 5 days away. This is a scroll that will allow you to send a message back with any information that you gather in 5 days. I want you all to know if we do not hear from you in 8 days, we cannot send anyone to help you. You'll be considered lost.
Sounds reasonable.
But this will help you communicate with me. And Mrs. Q, you can add a spell scroll of sending to your inventory.
Very cool.
Got it. At this point, the guard, you hear a knock at the door, and the guard that left kind of bustles in with a giant satchel, and he'll kind of like hand it to one of you. And whoever wants to take it, it is full of dried rations, like fruits, dried meats, some like hearty, like hardtack kind of bread.
And this bread.
All the references. Be safe. Contact us as soon as you know anything. Contact me as soon as you know anything. Are you ready?
I believe so.
Ready.
Right. You see her move back. You see the magistrate move back. Stand against the wall. And she kind of opens the door, pokes her head out, and you see kind of coming back into the room with the speaker, the same figure that you saw in the council chambers, whose magic seemed to shape Alderheart and pull pedestals out of the ground of the tree for each of you. And as the speaker kind of turns, this is Elle. She is one of our resident tenders. The tenders can speak to the tree of Alderheart, and is the reason why it's so fitting for our needs to a degree. The elevators are all barred, but Elle will help you get down the tree. It's going to be kind of tight, kind of packed, so squish together as best you can. But she'll send you on the outside of the tree, out of this office, so no one sees you leave. Get against the wall.
Sort of like start dragging people towards the wall.
So Basil goes over.
Yeah.
Well, magistrate, it's been a pleasure, and I'm gonna walk over to the desk and pull out of my pack. I promised when all was said and done, I'd return this to you, and I put the magistrate's seal back on the table. Unforged, untainted, as promised. And I look over at Mrs. Quillam, and I smile like, did I do good?
Oh, the magistrate is going to just right. Thank you.
No, don't worry. Where we're going, we don't need roads. And I go back
There
to
it
the wall.
is.
Yeah.
All right. As the 6 of you chuckleheads get against the wall.
See the sunglasses.
Yeah.
Elle will be seeming a little nervous, and she'll be looking at Aelin and kind of also sensing that this is someone who is connected with nature, connected with something. So she's gonna just kind of go over to her and you're connected to the tree?
Mm-hmm. I am.
Do you talk to the tree?
No way. It's more that the tree just listens.
I talk to the wind. But lately it hasn't been talking to me. Do you have any advice?
She's quite tall. She's going to kind of like kneel down.
Staring up at her.
My sister might know. She's one on the edge of the grove in the west. Have you heard of Ashborough?
Elle kind of cocks her head. She doesn't have a great knowledge of Humblewood outside of her own. She grew up outside of Marshview and has only just come to Elderheart. So she just shakes her head after a thought.
The tender kind of looks at the rest of you, knowing what Aelin was in the room when you spoke about Ashborough. They know about Ashborough. If you want, I can talk to my sister there, and whenever you're ready, she'll be expecting you. She might be able to help.
Elle will just kind of smile, get a little shy, and just kind of nod.
Mrs. Go ahead.
Aelin would just, unless Mrs. Hughes stops her, Aelin would just kind of like give a little smile before standing back up.
Mrs. Q goes over to, walks over to Elle once she's got everyone else where they're supposed to be, and grabs Elle by the hand and says, well, until then, dear, don't worry. I'll talk to you. And she walks out.
She'll take her. Okay.
All right. As the 6 of you kind of gather in group, you can see everybody's taking a step back as Aelin takes a step forward, closes her eyes, and just sort of raises her hands and starts to twist. And as she does, on each of her fingertips, you can see greens and golds just start to spark a little bit as almost like very teeny tiny sigils just start to weave in front of your eyes. And as she starts to murmur and rock and work back and forth, you become hyper aware of the fact that the view you have of the room is starting to close. And you're starting to move, get pulled back just a little bit. You know that the magistrate's office is built into the outside of the tree. And from what Aelin is doing, you feel like you're getting pulled even a little bit farther back. And you get one kind of final look at the room, the worried face of the speaker, the tired face of the magistrate, the guards standing alert and poised, and Aelin, eyes still closed before the tree trunk, the wood of this tree just weaves itself closed. And you feel yourself moving down. Slowly at first, but it gets a little bit faster. You kind of rock side to side very gently. You're tight, it's shoulder to shoulder. And you came up in a very big elevator made for carts. You are going down in a water slide kind of tube here.
Whoa, okay.
And
Very cool.
it's tight.
Elle just squeezes Mrs. Q's hand.
Oh.
She doesn't like confined spaces and is freaking out a little. The coffee hasn't helped either.
Yeah, the nerves are a bit jittery. And it feels like you are descending for like forever. Remember, Alderheart is huge. But as soon as it comes to the point where it's like, I can't do it anymore, get me out, you feel this pod kind of just start to slow, come to a stop. And then almost comically, as the branches start to unweave themselves behind you, so not the way you were facing, you kind of like tumble out backwards just a little bit because it was so tight in, but you find yourself on the true north side of Alderheart, standing on one of the mile-long routes, not too far away from the north elevator that the bandits came up and escaped through last night. The forest of Humblewood before you, the tree of Alderheart towering behind you for the first time in a couple days out of the city. What would you guys like to do?
Whip out the map and start trekking.
Might as well.
Can we, like, from where we are right now, I guess as we like get a little bit closer in the forest, do we see any disturbed like tracks, like where the bandits left and we're heading back?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and make a survival check to see if you can pick up the trail of the bandits.
16.
Yeah, so at this point, it's easier to do. The forest is not quite as thick. And as you kind of come around the tree trunk itself, kind of moving from massive root to massive root, it's easy to find the elevator and pick up the trail of the cart that they stole. You can kind of see like wood that has splintered. The elevator kind of looks damaged. You can see the great chain that was used to hoist them up and down. There's some like chips that have been taken out of it where you know before they were kept pristine. And as you are able to follow the debris from this cart down, you make it into the forest. It's very similar to the forest on your way into Alderheart. The trees here in Humblewood, they are big trees, old growth kind of thing. The canopy is very dense, however, as nothing has been cleared away for a road itself. So as you're kind of approaching, it's that ominous feeling of stepping from something solid to stepping onto underbrush, crinkled leaves, soft dirt. I just saw the cat's tail in your screen, Dennis. That was really cute. Very soft and spongy, like moss, kind of something wet that just soaks in the like any rainfall that occurs. And it's a bit slow going, but thankfully, because nothing is super dense, you can very easily see the cart tracks where the wheels have gone, where they've broken branches. It's very, very visible right now since the trees are not super, super tight together. But as you enter the forest, can someone make an adventure roll for me? Who wants to roll a d20? Or travel in again.
Well, yeah. No, go ahead.
Whose turn is it?
Yeah. Didn't I roll last time?
I was gonna suggest I'll do it.
Yeah, I want to see that tower.
She's the only one that hasn't.
Maximize her rolls when she has the DM in the room.
I don't know.
She did bring the DM snacks, so.
I guess I have a question for the DM. So
Yes.
one of the traits I picked, or when I leveled up, the trait I picked was wood wise.
Mhm.
So as part of it is I ignore difficult terrain and I can't become lost in surroundings. So if I'm doing an adventuring roll,
Nice.
do
Okay.
I, because this is her jam. Like she's quite at home in the forest. I'd imagine she's even letting folks know where to step or where not to step from what she can kind of tell.
That's definitely going to play a role. The adventure roll is more to see what's going to happen during the day.
Okay, so if I roll an 8, we're going to
it's-
run into a dragon or something
it's-
like that.
Get ready to take blame.
Oh, I'm ready.
Also, don't offer up suggestions of what we will run into.
Dragon.
You're just like, "Ooh,
All right, we ready?
Yep, whenever you are. Oh no, it got stuck!
2.
2.
Well, it's been a good adventure.
All right. All right, so as you are walking, you left early in the morning. It was like, 8 o'clock a.m. when you left. And you're following along, you're walking along, still seeing some blue sky above you whenever there's a break in the canopy. And as the trees are not super dense, you can still follow this trail of where this cart has gone. But as the hours kind of crawl by, it starts getting into like noon, early afternoon. It starts getting dark. Very, very dark, very quickly. And you kind of like look up, all of you just sort of looking around, trying to catch a glimpse of the sky, or did I walk into a deeper part of the forest? Nothing really seems to have changed. You can still see the trail. But you start to kind of hear just rumbling, as it seems like the sky is starting to get a little bit angry. Elle, as you are kind of leading the way, you feel kind of a cooler wind start to kind of wrap around you and pull you back if you start getting a little bit too far. Just kind of holding you back towards the group, since you can avoid difficult terrain, but the rest of your group is traveling a little bit slower than you at this point. But making sure you don't get too far. And as the rumbling starts to get louder and closer together, you start to feel, or I guess you start to hear, as opposed to actually feeling, the rain. The canopy above you kind of giving you a little shelter. Whenever it opens up to sky, you can feel that it has started to absolutely pour. But sheltered a little bit in the forest as you are, you can still see the lightning when it starts to crack across the sky. You can feel the wind kind of pushing you to and fro, pulling at your clothes, making the rain kind of hurt as it hits your face. Whenever you do end up getting into more of a clearing in these forests, or whatever rain makes it through the massive canopy of Humblewood. And as you are trudging through, your steps now very difficult in the muddier forest floor, the hours crawling on through the rest of the day, I need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw.
My page. No.
terrible.
Oh, I've seen a lot of frowns, guys.
It's a nat 1.
Ooh.
All right. Did anyone roll a 13 or higher?
Nope.
All right. Cam and Apoc and Dace, it sucks, man. It really sucks to be walking in this, but you're able to kind of keep your focus on the trail. The rest of you, it really sucks. And Elle, the coffee has worn off just a little bit. You do all take a point of exhaustion as you're trudging through this forest, going a little bit slower, keeping an eye on the trail.
Oh, man.
I don't add that.
Anybody want some coffee?
Conditions, okay.
Yeah.
You guys look like garbage.
And then if you scroll.
Yeah.
Love the trash talk.
Like that.
Yeah, it's wet, it's gross, it's yucky.
You see Apoc just walking along, just like plucking his bow. Check out my board log.
Yes.
Yikes, that would get really old really fast on a walk like this. All right. It takes a couple hours before the storm fully passes over you. But by that time, you're wet, you're cold, it's chilly, and you are heading north, which isn't always great for weather. But by the early evening. So we're talking kind of like a 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock after 12 hours of walking. You do see something a couple paces ahead of you. And as you get a little bit closer, you realize that it is the kind of shattered remnants of the cart that the bandits stole. It seems at this point they have abandoned the thing, leaving a massive trail behind them, and likely proceeded on foot. But although the rain has stopped, it is getting a little bit on the dark side. Are people interested in moving on, stopping here? Sorry, Cam.
Thanks for not getting us lost, Elle. We really appreciate your guidance.
She's just kind of nod and grumpily. Are we there yet?
Oh no.
I'm getting there.
Since it's kind of wet, can I investigate or can I notice any footprints?
Sure, go ahead and make an investigation check. Or actually, I'll give you investigation or survival. That's what I'll give you. To see footprints.
I already rolled investigation, but okay. The 5.
You see your own. It looks like they came from that direction.
Start walking back.
So Basil calls out, Dace, no, this way. Pulls it back.
What's the plan, guys?
Is there anything in the cart? Like, did they leave anything? Is there fabrics, something like anything torn? Any, I guess, remnants of the bandits?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and make an investigation check. If anyone wants to join them, go for it.
11.
11. It looks like it's been pretty picked clean. The wheels of this cart have also been like smashed. So it looks like it has been purposefully destroyed. It does look like it was, you don't know what was in the cart when it was taken, but there looks like to be a burlap kind of cover that would have covered the wood itself, and things would have been stacked on top, kind of like just a something to make sure that the wood didn't get stained, for example. It's kind of like tied onto the cart itself, but otherwise doesn't look like there's anything left.
It doesn't look like there's any blood on the cart anywhere.
It doesn't, excuse me, not that you can see.
Okay.
It doesn't look like there's any blood on the cart. It's also rained. Don't know how much that played into it, but it looks pretty clean. It just looks like it looks like it's rough. Like, you do notice that there are branches kind of poking out where the wood slats meet, and that it has purposefully been destroyed.
I guess too, based on that, would we get a sense that like they were definitely in a hurry, like they were just booked it from the cart type thing, or?
Yeah, you can make a survival check if you want to see. This is from the cart onwards, Basil, or this is the path you just trekked? What are you? From
the cart onward, does it look like they took their time to kind of like make it look distressed, or do we get a sense of like, if we don't go now, we're going to lose them, because they're clearly trying to book it an urgency away from this place?
Yeah, survival or investigation, either or, I'll give you.
Okay.
She might be grumpy, but Elle comes with you and she just kind of puts a hand on your shoulder and casts guidance. So you can add a D4.
Oh, nice.
That's the best spell in D&D.
And it's funny that's a 12-year-old giving like guidance.
High five.
Yeah, basically.
So that's a 23.
Whoa. Okay. Was it survival or investigation?
Survival.
Okay. So with a 23 survival, I mean, what you notice, it does look like, although you don't really see footprints, it does look like, things have been trampled here. You know that the bandits came with quite a force. It doesn't look like as big of a force as what you assume left Alderheart. So whether they split at some point and this was just the main way you followed, for example, but you can see a path through the woods that looks like, it's person by person or two people at a time, but you see the broken branches. the trampled underbrush, leaves that have been disturbed. You are able to kind of pick up that trail.
Cool. You know that scene in Lord of the Rings when Aragorn giving like, let's find like the pile of all, like the dead bodies, and then Aragorn's just like picking up the trail. It was like the path leads away from the battle.
Oh,
Path leads away from the cart. And he's just
Hobbit here.
and like,
That's super realistic tracking scene.
And his favorite scene.
Yeah. They were able to cut their buns. But yeah, you're with that roll, you're able to definitely pick up a trail, Basil.
Mm-hmm. Signal to the group as I like head towards the path.
Oh, I just remembered everybody has exhaustion. It should have been rolling at disadvantage, but that's okay. Moving on. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
No, I knew one of the Simcoes was gonna do it. All right. What are we gonna do, guys?
Does the group want to rest since like half of us are exhausted?
I mean, it's getting to evening, right? Like it's dark.
Well, how dark is it? Like, are we talking 8 p.m. dark? Are we talking about like 11 p.m.?
We're talking about like 8:30 p.m. Like you've been walking for 12 hours.
Oh,
You just got to where you were. Like it's getting dark.
Yeah, I don't mind a quick rest or long.
Does the cart provide any shelter? I guess is my, or is it completely beaten up that we wouldn't be able to get out of the rain?
No, that's a great idea. The only thing broken on the cart is like the wheels and the handles. So if you want to take the cart with you, it'd be hard. However, the bed of it looks like it's serviceable. You can flip it, you can make it a shelter yourself, but it can definitely help shelter you should it start to rain again this evening.
Yeah. This might be the best place to, hit the hay.
Yep.
Well, let me know how I can help set this up so we can get out of this during rain.
You got to like wipe it a little bit from your eyes as you look up. One of them like hits you right in the eye.
I'm Shawshanking every chance I get.
God. All right. So it's easy enough to. Oh, sorry, Mrs. Q.
Oh, as I guess the guys set up like a little lean-to or whatever with the remains of the cart, Mrs. Q uses her ability of Blessing of the Hearth to create like a little flagstone hearth appears in the middle of our little camp. And I put up some sausages and mashed potatoes and baked beans. And everyone can eat it. And I think you would regain hit points at the end. Hang on. This is a long rest, so I don't think it matters. But either way, eat some yummy food.
Cool.
You have a wonderful meal from Mrs. Q's divine magic that she is imbued with. And you're cold, you're kind of cranky, but this is a good meal, the best meal you've ever had. As you're able to very easily use the cart for shelter, warm up by the hearth that Mrs. Q has summoned to her command, and kind of cozy up, dry off, wring out your clothing, dry off your armor, as you sort of settle in the middle of this forest for the night.
We want to set a watch.
Sure, I could stay up a bit. You guys look pretty rough.
Mrs. Q's quills bristle just a little bit. Being said that she looks a little rough.
I mean, I could take first watch since owls are nocturnal, I guess.
Sure.
Should we divide it into three, two each? I'll stay up with Dace.
I can do a watch with anybody. With anybody.
I'll do it.
Okay. Basil, you and me. We'll take the second watch. Who's gonna take the third? I guess that's
Young and the Restless.
Yes.
Oh man.
But
Yeah,
which
I
one's
love it.
young and which one's restless?
Yeah, we can take the final one. If
Yeah,
we take
Ellie, sleep.
if we take a shift, do we still get a long rest and still get our exhaustion dealt with?
Yes, yeah. Even with a shift of watch, you'll still get your long rest.
Lovely.
Right. So who was taking the first watch?
Yeah.
Yeah, the two of us.
So as your comrades settle off to bed,
Before she goes
yeah.
to sleep, Elle's gonna kind of go up to Apoc and just kind of like tug on his shirt and just kind of look up at him expectantly.
Apoc hands you back Cordelia, but you notice Cordelia is wearing a night mask. Here, I've added a little something that might help you sleep tonight.
She'll look at it. Is it the mask? Is it a mask for the doll or a mask for Elle?
It looks really big on the doll.
Okay. She'll kind of look at it and she'll just hold it up to her eyes. Is this what it's for?
Yeah, it blocks out any light and just makes it feel more like sleep time.
She just again kind of hold it.
And Apoc just grabs the strap and pulls it around her.
Yeah, she doesn't quite understand what's happening. So she just kind of smiles. She's holding Cordelia, and she doesn't take the mask off, but kind of
Guys don't quit.
Just walks her.
Close by. I think she'll go close to Mrs. Q and just like hunker down.
Oh. That's perfect. All
Mrs.
right.
Q makes a quick breakfast with the leftovers from the night before, specifically Bubble and Squeak. And everyone has Bubble and Squeak for breakfast.
Oh, we're gonna go through the watches.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Always happen at night.
Apologies.
These.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
You're too eager to be cooking.
Okay.
Apoc, I think Georgina just has a recipe book.
Yeah.
Forget notes. Apoc and Dace. As everyone drifts off to sleep, I need a perception check. Either one of you with advantage or each of you individually. As I take a bite of my dinner.
Do I roll the advantage or do you want to?
I just rolled mine individually, so
Oh, okay.
you can roll yours as well.
Dirty 20.
Ooh,
Oh, okay.
19 for me.
Nice.
Okay. Gotta remember, disadvantage, but that's okay. A 19 is enough.
Neither of us had disadvantage.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
you two were the ones that didn't.
Mhm.
Yep.
You put all the sleepy
Yep.
people on. Okay, great. Cool. All right. As you kind of like keep watch, looking out, a lot of your experiences camping so far, with the exception of the marsh, which you only spent, I think, a night there. It is pitch black here. You do have the kind of crackling fire from Mrs. Q's hearth, but the height of these trees, their closeness, the canopy, it's a lot. It's stifling. It's very closed. But at the same time, you're back out again into something other than a city. Maybe a little bit comforting, since the last time you were out of the city, you made a friend in Lukewarm. But other than the bugs that have decided to kind of buzz around your eyes and in your face, your watch does go by uneventfully. Unless there's anything you wanted to say to each other, we'll skip to the other two boys.
Hey, Dace, you want to play a game?
There we go. I knew it.
I'm down.
You got anything you can shoot with?
Shoot with. Like as in ammo or as in?
Yeah, like the
Hmm,
bow.
I don't.
You got any daggers you're good at throwing? What can you? I'm thinking we do a little target practice while we have some time.
I could throw my great axe. Can I throw my great axe? Am I strong enough to throw my great axe?
I mean, if you want to.
Absolutely, I will allow this.
Done. I could throw my great axe.
I bet you a gold you can't throw it at this arrow. And I just pull out my bow and shoot one off at a tree about like 20 feet away.
Okay.
And everybody sleeping just hears check out my board log.
I'll call the shot, and I think that's calling a shot is disadvantage, but I'll call it and I'll say I could split that arrow in two.
Ooh.
Okay, so you're not just trying to hit this arrow, you're trying to split it right down the center in two.
Like a Robin Hood type thing.
Robin Hood it. Yeah.
With a great axe.
I'll up the bet. If you can split this arrow in two, I'll give you 20 gold.
And that's all my money.
All right. Go ahead and make an attack roll when you're ready, Dace. It's gonna be hard. Pardon?
Correct?
I don't think exhaustion gives disadvantage. It's just harder to hit this thing because you want to split it in two.
Got you.
Reckless.
So it's a 23 to hit.
The tree explodes.
I set the DC at 21.
Oh man.
Should you describe it, Dace?
Well, I mean, 20 feet away with the great axe. I kind of want to take down the tree.
Yo, man, do it.
Kind of wake up everyone with the tree falling down.
Well, they didn't say that they walked away from you guys, so I'm thinking you're like behind them in the cart and they're doing this in front is my thought, but who even knows anymore?
I pictured us just like sitting on the back of the cart, just like chatting, staying by the warmth, and
perfect.
I feel like I'm going to take like a lumberjack toss and just two hand over my head, just throw it and just goes through the tree.
Jesus.
man.
Both the tree and the arrow split into the trees, like chipped a little. These are huge trees, so it didn't quite do that, but whatever damage you were going to roll is enough to split an arrow straight into, much to your shock, Apoc.
I'm impressed.
I'm impressed.
Here's the 20 gold. I really didn't think you could do that.
I don't even say anything. It's just I just take it and I just pocket it and I just go and get my axe.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. As your watch comes to a close with that, Cam and Basil, you wake up to a thunk.
Basil immediately jumps up to alert, like, what? Try to see what the noise came from, or where the noise came from.
Yeah, you see this exchange of gold and Dace kind of trudging back to come and wake you guys up. For your watch, I need, so you're both exhausted, so a perception check at disadvantage each, or one of you with a straight roll.
How
How do you want to do it?
maybe I can take a straight roll. That'd probably be better. All right, I'll go for it. That's an 11.
All right.
7 plus 4.
As you are keeping watch in your very meerkat way, you're really tired though. You're usually pretty good at this, but it's kind of tiring. And you get a little bit distracted by the little fireflies that have kind of come out, just kind of moving along, moving in front of you. One of them sort of like lands on your knee as you kind of get a little bit distracted, even though Basil is kind of nodding off beside you and jolting himself awake. But other than some suspicious rustlings, maybe forest critters kind of going through this deep in the forest, you don't notice anything on your watch.
Just to add some flavor. So I imagine like Cam's doing his whole meerkat thing. Sir Basil's like dozing off, maybe even like, leaning on Cam a little bit. Can I tie my how I imagine this, like I tie my cloak to my tail, and because my tail is really long, it's up above us and it's billowing out like an umbrella to protect us from the rain as I'm nodding off, holding up my cloak.
Sure, why not? I like it. Love it.
I like that. Hey Basil.
Mm.
Do you know where we're going? Like I know we're going to get the bandits, but you're looking for someone, right?
Like I'm looking for someone?
Well, that whole conversation back in Alderheart.
Wait, sorry, out of game. What?
with your family. Said you had
Assisted, right?
some siblings
yeah.
that you're going to find. Do you have any idea where you want to start with that?
Do you have written down what their names are?
Nope. Sage and
Paragon.
Was it Sage and Fennel? No, not. What are their names?
So Peppermint and Thyme were missing. No one's heard from them in a while. They came looking for you. Sage and Lemongrass were at the Avium, and Lavender was the one who stayed in Alderheart.
And we learned from talking to my parents that they went to the Crest Mountains, or
I think they just said they went looking for you. I'd have to check the video back, but I think they said they went looking for you.
what were the names again?
Thyme and Peppermint.
Can you write that down?
This is your backstory.
I know. I need to actually take notes. Okay, so back in character. Sir Basil, you can kind of see he gets a little reflective, and he says, "You're right. My siblings, Thyme and Peppermint, went looking for me. I have no idea where they would have gone.
Well,
I have no idea if they're alive or if they're dead."
What kind of breadcrumbs would you have left? Like, where did you go before we ran into you?
Once I left Alderheart as a young Jerbian, I took wherever adventure would take me. Passing through Reach, Meadowfen, small areas further south, until I met our crew here.
Okay. Well, then, if your trail led you south, maybe that's where we should be going to find them.
Sir Basil kind of like thinks and nods his head, thinking like maybe you're right.
I'm gonna level with you, Basil.
Okay.
Back at the fair, I went over to that fortune teller, and they said that there was something in my past that I had to handle, to figure out, a challenge to overcome. And I think that challenge is finding Pip. At least that's my nickname for Peppermint.
Sir Basil just kind of like, his ears just shoot up, and he just looks Cam straight in the face, kind of shocked and a little alerted, kind of like, Peppermint?
Yeah.
How? Where?
Yeah.
When?
Pip Pip and I were engaged.
Sir Basil now stands up. Cloak is like not like rain is hitting us because his cloak comes down. He's like, what?
And your dad called off the wedding.
Jack.
Sir Basil's now just pacing back and forth. What, Cam? What are you saying?
I'm saying we're gonna go find your sister. I didn't know you were part of that family until we ran into Alderheart, but I think we gotta work together and find her.
Sir Basil comes right up to, well, as close as he can get, because I know there is a huge height difference. But he just goes up, like, yeah, he's just like, swear to me that you're telling the truth.
I swear.
Sir Basil kind of just like drops his hand, his ears kind of come down a little bit, and you can tell he's just like trying to make sense of everything. He sits down. A couple seconds later, his toe comes back up, billows out, so they're now protected for the rain. And finally, he says, "How did this happen? Where did you last see Peppermint?"
Last time I saw her was in Alderheart 5 years ago. I got sent out when the wedding was called off, and in a panic, I left town. Went back to find the family I knew, and hadn't seen her since. So I think this bandit expedition is noble. Protect the family, but after that, I think I got plans of my own, and I'm hoping you'll come with me.
Basil kind of like nods his head, looks at Cam, and says, "If it's to find my sister, I will join you. You have my sword."
I think you would have been a good brother, and I go back to wake up somebody else for the next shift.
All right. All right. As Cam and Basil's watch comes to an end, waking up the two ladies of the group. Elle, as you wake up, you still with the sleep mask on, but you know your eyes are open even though it's very, very dark. You have a very vivid memory of the dream that kind of frequents you every so often, playing with the wind as it just pulls you up high so you can see everything underneath you. You can see your home. You can see the city you grew up in, the town you grew up in. You can see all of Alderheart from where you are, as the wind kind of pulls you to and fro, like kind of tickling you as you go, ruffling your feathers, swooping you close to the ground so you can feel the ocean of the Talengrit coast kind of in your face. And, you know, sometimes you kind of forget, but this feels very, very vivid as you wake up. But the mask's still on, but as you wake up into pitch darkness and hear Mrs. Q kind of rustling beside you for your watch. And I will need the two of you, either a perception check with disadvantage or one of you with a straight roll.
I haven't rolled higher than a 5 tonight, so I'm not sure if my dice are cursed or.
Okay, my laptop is being very slow with.
It's doing like a mobile.
Yeah, I know. I hate it.
Can you not switch to like desktop?
I don't know how. Okay. What did you say the roll was?
So a straight roll for perception on your watch.
Ooh.
That is a 21.
21, okay. Similar to the first two washes, you kind of notice the rustling around it. You're jumpy at first as you listen to it, but realize that it's probably just something in the forest. Nothing really to worry about. You can You definitely with that notice that when the sun starts to rise, even though you are in the middle of the forest with very little light around you, you see the tree that has been split by Dace's axe. You definitely don't know why, but you can see that there is some damage to a tree not too far away. But your watch also does pass uneventfully as you are keeping a very keen ear out. Unless there's anything either of you wanted to do or say.
Mrs. Q just makes sure to tend the fire while she's on watch. And
Elle,
some stuff.
Elle doesn't really understand what a watch is. So
Oh.
she's awake. She'll go and put Cordelia back next to Apoc, then go look at the tree, kind of play around, like climb, because that's what as anyone would do.
Yep.
She kind of get bored, and then she'll come and sit by Mrs. Q by the fire and kind of watch her for a little bit, not saying anything. And Elle will ask, "What kind of adventure are we going on?"
Mrs. Q, while she's sort of like staring off into the distance, she hasn't like necessarily been paying a huge amount of attention to Elle. She's just been keeping an eye on her passively to make sure she doesn't like wander off or hurt herself. But for the most part, she's just leaving her to her own devices. And so while Elle is asking these questions, she's sort of like still looking around. She like pulls a crochet hook out from her apron and starts like doing some stuff and says, "This is the kind of adventure that you will never, ever forget about." And that's it.
There.
Elle will kind of nod and just more say to herself, because she kind of gets the hint that Mrs. Q doesn't really want to talk. And she'll just say to herself, "Maybe this is it. Maybe this is my destiny." And she'll kind of go back to playing with leaves she finds on the ground and just kind of wandering around as the sun comes up.
Mrs. Q, seeing that Elle wasn't particularly happy with her answer, sort of like focuses in a little bit more on Elle and asks, "What kind of adventure do you want it to be?"
Elle will shrug. The kind that I've read about in my books. The kind where you try to let no bad happen. The kind where things can get scary, but then are all okay in the end. The kind that make your dreams come true.
Oh.
Well, if you stick with us and you put your best foot forward and give it your best effort, then I am sure that that's exactly what will happen.
I will just kind of smile and again go back to kind of playing with the wind. But she's standing a little taller. She's happy. So cute.
All right. And as the sun rises on the second day that you are here in the forest, everyone kind of shaking themselves awake. Mrs. Q making breakfast, as she already mentioned. Whether you had a good sleep after your watch or not, I will leave that up to you, but you do get a long rest. You do shake off your exhaustion. And we'll take a quick break. We started a bit late, but we'll take a quick break since it's been about an hour and 15 minutes. So back in a couple minutes.
Cool.
Shall we?
Mm.
Dennis, get off YouTube.
It's so satisfying.
Still on it.
Have an ASMR break.
See, this is how we realized that it wasn't just by accident that he fell into this. This is
Yeah, you get into that 3 a.m. YouTube rabbit hole, and then you learn how giraffes fight in the wild.
Don't they bash their necks together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyways.
could have been a giraffe character. That would have been ridiculous.
Yeah. It's okay. They could have been 10 feet tall and I still would have said it's medium, right, Eric?
Quick, yeah. Quick, kill me off. I got an idea.
Okay. All right. We'll jump back into it. As you all wake up the next morning to the smell of Mrs. Q making breakfast. What was it again, Mrs. Q? Before I have to backtrack you?
Bubble and squeak.
You probably need to explain what that is.
Yeah.
How do I explain
Great
that?
YouTube video.
ASMR, bubble and squeak me.
It's something you make with actually, would it be Hubble Bubble and Squeak? Because there's, hang on a second.
Oh.
It's a British thing.
But like what's in it?
Bubble and squeak.
Yeah.
Isn't it like peas and
Mice?
Yeah. So it's like potatoes and cabbage. You like sort of like fry it all together in a frying pan. But it like, because I would use the extra sausages that we had from the day before as well. And it's called Bubble and Squeak because as you're cooking it, the cabbage squeaks.
Oh.
And it
So-
like makes popping sounds.
So think of it as if you had like, so this is the best way I would describe it as someone who didn't grow up on it. Is if you took mashed potatoes and like mixed vegetables, you just mix it up and made it into like a patty and fried it. So it's almost like a breakfast hash brown, but with like vegetables and stuff.
It's kind of like a frittata type thing.
Yeah, it's
Potato instead of egg.
Sounds delicious.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. And I think if it has meat in it, then it's Hubble Bubble and Squeak. Either way,
So is there
very
is there
yummy.
meat in it though?
yeah, because it's leftover sausages.
Ah.
I would have chopped them up and put it inside too.
Does Miss Q like say or do anything as she's cooking it? Does she sing to herself or?
Nope.
So you all just wake up to the smell and the squeaking and popping of hubba bubba, oh. Hubba bubble and squeak.
Hubble Bubble and Squeak.
Hubble bubble and squeak. There we go. I'll write that down later. And I'm assuming it tastes delicious because all of Mrs. Q's cooking tastes delicious.
They just rolled a con check. Like, is this poisonous? No.
No, you're all fine unless Mrs. Q chooses you're not.
Nope, I want you all to be fine.
And as you finish up your breakfast, tidy up, just stop me if you want to do anything. But if not, I am going to need someone to roll a d20 for the second day as you take off from this cart.
Dace, hit us with it.
I still not vote for the dice tower. We have it, might as well use it.
I mean, I rolled a 2 last time, but I will roll it. That's a 6.
Hey.
Progress.
We're getting there.
All right. As you start your walk,
Dysentery.
kind of taking
Die on the Oregon Trail.
the Humblewood Trail, picking up the trail of the bandits who left. With Basil's keen eye from that roll before, it's easy to kind of get the direction they're going. Comparing to the map that you have, they are moving in a northern, slightly eastern direction, more north. It seems like they just ran in a straight line as far away as possible. And as you're going, the memories of being sopping wet yesterday still fresh in your mind. The day is clear, and you are able to make up any lost time, if anything, with Elle's help kind of pointing out where to step to avoid the difficult terrain. It is actually quite easy going. But as you move forward and walk forward, one thing you do start to notice is the density of the trees starting to get like a little closer together. The trees starting to get a little older, the trunk's a little bigger. And again, stop me if you want to do anything at all today, but by the end of the day, you start to feel quite small as you seem to be in a very thick central part of the forest that is largely untraveled, with the exception of the trail you are following. You don't really see any other signs of life except for the bugs that kind of gather around you, sensing the sweat from the critters moving through, the sunlight, the birds overhead that you can kind of hear flitting from tree to tree. Off in the distance, you kind of hear some squirrels chirping at each other, getting angry at each other. Some skittering here and there, very, very foresty sounds that although your nerves are a little on edge as you kind of keep an eye out, nothing seems to alarm you when night falls once more. And you are 2 days into your 5-day journey. Did anyone want to do anything during the day, at night to set up watches?
Elle does during the day. At some point, Elle knows that Cam has the map. So at some point during their walk during the day, she's going to go up to him and ask to look at it.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to see the map, I can show it to you.
Yeah, can I look at it?
So I clap my hands together, and pulling out between them is an illusory version of the map that I like mold into like 3D, so that it's like showing kind of like the sci-fi kind of version of the map that extends up with the topography. It's like, there you go. There's the map of Humblewood.
She's just, she's pretty impressed by this. She's going to look at it and she's going to ask you to point out a few different landmarks to her so she can see where Elderheart was. And she's going to point at where the avium is and ask you, have you ever been to this place before, the avium?
The avium? I did stop in there briefly. Yeah, it's been quite some time.
Are we going to go to it at all? Or is it anywhere near where we're going?
Not right now, but I think we could certainly, if that's where you need to go, we can certainly take you along and bring you there.
She's going to scratch her head and just kind of take in this whole big map of Humblewood. It's a little overwhelming to her. She just feels really small looking at it. She'll just kind of nod and say more to herself. Maybe that's where she went. And just without any other word, just kind of walk away. Yeah. She'll call over her shoulder, oh, thank you. Like not forgetting her manners, but kind of just is lost in her own little.
As she does, you see a little pin that looks like Elle's face appear on the map. Like a like a pin that's put down before he closes it.
Where does the pin go anywhere in particular? Or just
the avium?
Cool. I love that. That's awesome. I don't know what it is, but it's cool.
Just a little marker so I can know where she pointed.
I'll show you when you come back here.
Okay. Anybody else want to do anything during the day or in the evening? All right, so after a very good day of travel, making up a lot of ground, making up good time, Mrs. Q's breakfast carrying you over whatever Mrs. Q has for dinner, if she's going to be cooking some dinner. I'm just making assumptions.
Yep, vegetable pot pie.
There we go.
I don't have meat.
You are.
We can hunt. We could try and get some meat, right? There's wildlife all around us.
If you want to, Mrs. Q is not going to be able to help hunt.
Anybody interested in meat?
Sure. Let's hunt.
If meat's back on the menu, I'll go help you.
There it is.
Oh
Yes.
boy.
Yeah, as they're setting up camp, setting up dinner, Apoc's just gonna go out with, I guess, Sir Basil and see what game they can find.
Elle is gonna ask Mrs. Q if she can go too.
Oh.
I actually think that I could really use your help cutting these vegetables.
Okay, so she'll stay there.
All right. So Apoc and Basil, if you were going to go out and try to find something, I think it was just the two of you. If anybody else wants to be there, just say so. I will need a survival check.
Okay.
See if you can pick up the trail of any game.
Oh gosh, that's terrible.
That was garbage.
I rolled a 4.
Oof, that's only a 7 for me.
A little bit dark at this point in time. And the critters who live here know this place a lot better than you do. Trees are very tall. The undergrowth, as soon as you what you're following has kind of been tamped down because of the group of bandits that went through here. But as soon as you stray off of that, because you're in a very thick part of the wood, it's a little bit harder to look through the undergrowth in the dark, even with dark vision, if either of you have it. Unfortunately, the critters are a little bit better at hiding than you are at finding them at this point, and you don't quite find any game to bring back. But vegetable pot pie is very good nonetheless, and you don't even miss the fact that there's no meat in it.
Sir Basil
It
just
is off the menu.
Apoc on, I guess, the side or wherever he can reach. Just says, better luck next time. As I head back to camp.
Tuna Mapada. Is what it is.
Start keeping track of these. All right. As you go back to sleep, keeping watches as before, again, if you want to do anything at night, just stop me. But because it was so easy to travel during the day, it's very easy to keep track at night and stay up to make sure that nothing is going to happen. And this deep into the forest, you're not really at risk of any surprise attack from being. I can see Sean and Eric smiling at each other, and I'm just wondering what it is they're saying back and forth. You're not really at risk of anybody ambushing you or shooting at you from above. And the night does pass just fine. Cam, you do wake up the next morning to the soft flutter of wings and a very light, actually, I don't know, a presence on your shoulder as you roll over. You what?
I stab at it.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll.
What is this? I couldn't hear it, but I'm just gonna. That's a 2 + 5.
What's Hugh's
8.
AC?
8.
Okay.
Actually, his AC is higher than that, so I miss.
Okay. So you miss your familiar as Hugh has returned
Jeez.
and is a little confused at what just happened as he flutters away and kind of lands on a nearby open patch of grass. This little bat just sort of wings down, just kind of looking at you.
Oh, hey, buddy. Do you see where those bandits are going? Can you help us lead the way or help us guide us there? Like, I'm not gonna lie, this Elle girl, she's pretty good. But maybe you guys could figure out how to get us to these bandits. That'd be awesome.
He just sort of, because I don't think he can talk, right? You can't talk? Yeah, okay. But he can understand you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what noise bats make, so we're just going to avoid that whole scenario. He like will kind of just open his wings a little bit, just like full splay. He's super cute. And as you say, this Elle girl pointing towards Elle, who might be asleep, might be awake. I'll leave that up to you.
She's scrunched down and she's got the sleep mask on her eyes still.
He'll just kind of do the awkward hobble over to Elle and just put his wings down and just stare at you from over her shoulder, just waiting. But you are all able to, you're all roused to consciousness. You taking the sleep mask off to this painted bat right in your face.
Ella's met Hugh before, so she's more happy to see him than scared or anything.
Perfect.
She kind of, again, starts playing with some gusts of wind and kind of like flies him around.
Yeah,
I'll leave it up to you. Does Hugh enjoy it?
Oh yeah, he's his own person. I don't have agency over him, so if he wants to have fun, let him do it.
Perfect. All right. As you are all roused in the early morning, now that you're this far into the woods, it is a little bit darker. There are some sunbeams that kind of filter through the trees. There are still breaks in the canopies every so often, but it's noticeably more dense at this part. Not as bright. You can't really see the sun fully from your vantage point. So it's a little bit stiff waking up, kind of getting used to the fact that it does feel darker. It does feel a bit more enclosed. But nonetheless, as the third day begins, who would like to roll for the adventure roll for today?
I will.
Dace is going to do it.
D20?
Just a D20.
This is day 3, correct?
Mm-hmm. Day 3.
Remember, we need to at some point.
A 10?
Yeah.
Day 3 of, I think, 5. It was a 5-day journey.
It was a 5-day journey. All right. All right, so trudging off, getting a little bit deeper and a little bit. Oh, hey, Mom.
Oh, we're getting a dessert.
We're getting
delivery.
dessert.
Thank you.
Thanks. You can say hi to everyone if you want.
I'll push on. I'll go upside down.
Oh.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
you gotta go closer.
Everyone's waving. She's gone. Thank
Oh,
you.
okay. Bye.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Nice.
I had to text Steph as she drove here if she liked pistachios or not. Okay, with a 10. With a 10, as you're moving deeper into the shrine, you come to a part where it almost looks like the forest has kind of been cleared, like purposefully cleared. It's overgrown, but they've kind of been like it's just grass as opposed to tree trunks. You see the stumps of a few massive trees, one of which is right in the middle of this clearing. And because it is a clearing in the middle of the forest, this whole area is brightly lit. Like it is beautiful. The sun is beating on this place. The grass is shades of green and yellows that gently sway in the wind, that kind of just whips around it, moves it so that it almost looks like it's dancing. And on the stump right in the middle, you see something that you haven't seen in a couple days, which is something man-made. There is a pile of rocks that kind of looks almost like a pyramid-ish, but more just because it has like one layer and a bit of a rounded top. And there is a little alcove that has been carved out of the rock. It's super, super smooth, and it's completely covered in moss. And you see it's not so much a tablet as it is just a kind of jagged, crooked larger stone that's sitting in that alcove. And you see what appears from this vantage point on the outside of the clearing, what looks to be like scratches, words, letters of some sort, but it's kind of hard to read, kind of covered, half covered in moss from where you are.
Can I use my, can I like reach out with my mage hand to just clear off some of the moss?
Yeah, as you reach out, I think mage hand can go like 30 feet, which is what you would need. It's a fairly large clearing. As you go, pull off some of the moss, easy enough. Like it's just moss that has grown over a pile of rocks. From 30 feet away, it's still a little difficult to see what's written. It looks older, weathered maybe at this point. It's kind of covered in some dirt, some dust, but easy enough to like pull away the moss. And it does look built. It looks like stones and mortar for the backing, with a very large stone that is perfectly placed, purposefully, in the middle of this alcove.
How big?
It's not a cave per se. Sorry, Cam. It's not a cave per se, as it's like a 5 foot tall man-made structure, maybe like a 6 foot diameter. It's not something you could go into. It's more just there.
Oh, well, you guys, but my interest is piqued.
Definitely.
Get closer.
Who wants to go in?
Can Mrs. Q would her knowledge of history allow her to decipher any of the scratchings?
Yeah, as you waddle up, Mrs. Q, and start looking at the stone that Cam's mage hand had pulled the moss away from, it's even this close, it's a little hard to read because this is old. Now, this is a very old thing, and rock stays forever. But
Mrs. Q, take this. And I hand her a magnifying glass.
Amazing.
Well, thank you very much.
As you use the magnifying glass, you can see very clearly that the weathering of however long the stone has been here has kind of taken layers off. So letters that were once carved deep are not carved as deep. That's why it's a little difficult to read. But using the magnifying glass, whether you need it or not, just for flavor text, I love it. As you read, it's not so much history as it's a verse. It's a prayer verse. And as you kind of read through and are mouthing out the words, it's something very standard. And getting to the end of this prayer verse, just sort of reading it in your mind, there is a phrase that mentions one of the amaranthine, the explorer, Rhea, the raptor representation. And you can see Rhea's symbol, kind of the most worn away thing at the very top of this stone, that now you know what you're looking for. You can see her symbol. And it just seems to be some sort of shrine in the middle of nowhere.
So you said there was a phrase? Or is it just the overwhelming, like, we can tell it's from the amaranthine?
Well, it's just it's a prayer. Like, it's a very standard prayer, like a prayer card.
Okay.
So one that, a follower of Rhea would know and say. And the very last line is kind of along the lines of, Rhea, the great hunter, or Rhea, the great explorer, protect me as I travel, along those types of lines. As Rhea is known to be the guardian of explorers and travelers in Humblewood, the Amaranthine, sorry.
I'm kind of imagining it looking a bit like Ogham. Have you ever seen Ogham script?
No.
Okay. I'll send a picture because I geek out about this stuff and I think it's cool.
Perfect.
Love it.
Oh.
It's the oldest written language ever recorded in the UK. Anyway,
It
yeah.
looks like just like lines and like,
Oh,
almost
it's
like
cool. It doesn't
No, no, no.
sound
I mean, like-
dumb.
I don't think it's dumb. I think
It's super cool.
Yeah, so like that's kind of what I'm envisioning, this rock face, this weathered rock in the alcove of this mortared rock structure. It's super cool. It's more like glyphs, like it is bird folk, it's readable. Sorry, yeah, bird. I think bird folk is the common language here, so it is readable. It's not something you have to decipher so much as it's just weather worn. But this is really cool. This is a language.
Yeah. It's they use the edge of rocks, so depending on which face of the rock will change the letter that they're representing with lines.
That's so cool.
Anyway, yeah.
I love it.
Elle has been again kind of like she's kind of loving this. It's an adventure. Everything seems pretty cool. Nothing bad has happened. Just playing with Hugh. When they get into the alcove, she doesn't think much of it, but she does go up with Mrs. Q to look at the writing and immediately recognizes the symbol of Rhea, and recognizes too these verses and these words. And you can kind of hear her under her breath say, "Seek out unknown horizons. And she's a little excited, and she'll point to Mrs. Q. On her bandana, she has a pendant, and it is the same pendant as the symbol of Rhea. She's excited because this is something that's really familiar to her. That up to now she'd felt a little out of her element.
Cool. I love that. Does Elle consider this like a prayer to Rhea or something from her own past that she was meant to remember?
She recognizes more the symbolism. She was never the best student, so whether or not this was something she needed to recall for her studies is a bit vague. But Elle identifies quite a lot with Rhea, with this idea about adventures and this closeness with the wind. So kind of seeing that she's just kind of abuzz with excitement. So the wind that sometimes is circling her usually is getting like a little more extreme.
Yeah, ruffling everybody's fur and feathers, whoever's close by at the time.
She's reacting to this like in a more visceral way than you've seen her respond to anything so far.
Awesome. Unless
Do I? Okay, well, Apoc, you know me. You know. If I were to do anything here, it wouldn't be the first temple I've desecrated. So, should we like check out what that tablet says? Like, Elle, can you read what this tablet says? And I walk in and like I touch the tablet.
so just as the script is on this tablet.
And that's what that's what she read was the tablet.
That's what she's reading. Yeah. It's just like there's a shrine with rock and mortar built around it, and the tablet is kind of it's protected almost from the
I
elements.
thought some of that was on the writing on the walls, and there's a tablet in the middle. But
no, it's just, I did a bad job explaining.
No, that's fine. As I touch it, I'm gonna cast Identify on it.
Oh, okay. Okay. As you do, you get kind of an immediate ping of very, very light divination. Nope. Come on, I gotta look something up real quick. Give me a second.
No. So yeah, this is pretty neat, Elle. Like, how long have you been following Rhea's guidance?
She kind of looks and thinks, well, I'm 12 and it happened when I was 4. So the difference in that.
6. So what is the difference? So what happened at 4?
She just looks at you. That's when I went to train with Master Weira.
At this place, and you see the little ping.
Nope. And she points close to Marshview, but kind of just outside. She just points here.
Okay, and I put another pin.
Is she an airbender?
Were you asking anyone in particular, Apoc?
No.
With your identify cam, you do get an immediate ping of some faint divination magic.
Okay.
You don't identify this so much as of a magic object, as it's more like a it's like a communing stone-ish, sort of like it's a holy place. So it's a consecrated ground, like an open channel to the Amaranthine. And this tablet, this stone with writing on it in particular, you can gather from your identify that it's kind of a holy place for the followers of Rhea. And identify tells you everything, right?
Any spells are affecting the item, what they are, or if it was created by a spell, what spell created it. If it's not a magic item, there's more if it's a magic item.
Yeah, it's not really so much a magic item as it's more just a blessed item.
Okay.
That's
cool.
But I will say, like, with it, you can almost infer, like, Rhea is... The wind with Rhea was a very important part. Like, Rhea herself could actually do things other birds can't, like fly-ish. And from the vantage point of being in the clouds would make it very easy for an explorer or someone like Rhea to see everything below her. And you gather that not only is this an open line of communication to Rhea, but a person who prays at this tablet to Rhea, the first person of the day, would gain the ability to see everything below them from an elevated vantage point, one might say, for a little bit.
Well, Elle, is there anything you wanted to say to Rhea?
So Elle looks now a little almost like, darn it, they called me on it. She gets a little shuffly and like kind of, I don't know if birds can wring their hands, but that's kind of what she's doing.
They absolutely can.
She says, I can try, but ever since Master Weira went away, the wind hasn't been talking to me, but I can try.
Go for it.
Okay.
Something,
so Elle is going to... Pardon?
Something horizons.
Seek out new horizons. Something Elle is noticing too, she's going to sit down kind of in front of the tablet and cross her legs. And as she does, she sees the band that's on her leg again. And she hasn't thought too much about it, but she does notice it glowing slightly. And she's going to close her eyes and she's going to, her kind of version of commune with the wind, she's going to kind of settle into herself and reach out with her mind to try and connect again, this connection she has to the wind.
Okay. Yeah, so as you do, kind of blocking out the 5 of your party, with the encouragement of Cam, sort of sitting there, closing your eyes, aware of the band on your leg, aware of the tablet in front of you, and whether or not fully aware of where you are currently. you can feel that gentle wind that was moving through the meadow starts to kind of compress. And kind of the way it feels like before a storm comes, where there's a certain smell, a certain breeze in the air that kind of pulls itself all around you. And the rest of you, as this is kind of going on, you notice that the rest of the meadow has stopped moving and swaying. And the grass that's in like a 6-inch circle around Elle has kind of continued the gentle sway. And as you are communing with the wind, you can feel it ruffling your feathers. You don't so much hear the wind say things the way you've heard it before. You more kind of feel in your gut that you're on the right path, but it's just the beginning. And you can kind of feel that you're where you're supposed to be, just not exactly right now. And although it's not maybe quite what you wanted to hear after not hearing the wind for so long and the way you know it, the warmth and the energy around you is similar to what you felt before. So it's familiar. And you can feel almost like a little, the way tears feel when you're trying to hold them back in your eyes, kind of like pinpricks. And you sort of just open your eyes out of reaction. No tears, nothing is really changing, but you, with this reassurance from the wind in the place that you are, you do gain the ability to cast Elevated Sight once.
Okay. I don't know how to add that, but we can do that later.
You can put it in your inventory if you
Okay.
want. I'll let you do that. It's a single-use thing, so
Okay.
just like. And as you kind of finish this commune and opening up your eyes, the wind that is kind of gathered around you, and the rest of you feel this as well, perhaps Mrs. Q more than anything, as the wind whooshes away and throws your apron all over the place. Yeah. Basil, your cloak that normally billows on its own needs no assistance billowing, as the wind just kind of like takes it, and maybe you along with it a couple steps with power as it flows or pushes itself away from Elle before moving back.
Kind of coming out of that, again, Elle, this feels really familiar to her, but while she feels the prickles of tears, there are a couple tears that come out because she's just so relieved that she's been able to connect with the wind again. Though she will then swiftly look around and see that some of her companions have been scattered, and immediately gets a little scared and just runs to each of you just to make sure that you're okay, that nothing bad has happened. And that everyone is okay. She doesn't say much to the group, just all she really tells everyone is, well, we're on the right track and Rhea will help us if we need help.
That is excellent news.
That's so cool.
She just kind of shrugs like, thanks. Yeah, it's something I've always been able to do.
All right. Unless there's anything else anyone wants to do, you are able to push through and continue moving away from this shrine to Rhea, once more into the darkening forest as it moves closer and closer and closer to twilight. Because there was no inclement weather to contend with, and you are now getting a little more used to the surroundings that you are here with, Unless there's anything you want to do at night. Mrs. Q, what's for dinner?
Tonight is have you ever heard of something called Beeny Weenies?
What is
No.
This we actually got from some friends of ours cook it for their kids. So it's just like, so I'm assuming that the rations that we got is probably a lot of the same food. So I'm trying to like make things a little bit different every day, but I'm really using the same ingredients. So we're gonna have some like some kind of like biscuit, like an American style biscuit that I'm cooking like probably like on some hot stones around the hearth. And Beeny Weenies is like baked beans mixed with like cut up pieces of sausage.
Oh,
Yeah. I've never heard it called that before, but I
neither.
love it.
Okay.
Beeny Weenies? Okay.
Beeny Weenies.
You are able to enjoy your meal of Beeny Weenies from Mrs. Q. And once again, your watch goes by nice and smooth. Is there anything anyone wanted to do at night or waking up the next morning?
Just it's day 4 now.
It is day 4 now, yes. Dennis is keeping track.
Gotta keep track.
Can we see the mountains at this point? Like, are they coming up?
Now that you're in the daylight, seeing where you stopped, so this is the morning of day 4, you notice that it seems like you have passed the densest part of the trees. So they're starting to thin out a little bit. You don't quite see the mountains just yet, just because the canopy is so tall, so high above you, and so thick. But you're day 4 of a 5-day journey. 5 days and you know you're going to be at the mountains. So you've got to be close.
Guys, how do we know we haven't gone past them? Should somebody climb up and check? Like, we've just been walking for 4 days.
I know, still following a trail.
Thought we were.
Yep, it's the bandits did have a whole night on you. So they had about 12 hours. They also seem to know this place a little bit better. The trail has gotten, the trail has been, because of the winds that have kind of come through, you can still follow it because branches have been broken in the underbrush, but that's kind of your only clue. The trampled parts of the underbrush are starting to bounce back a bit more. But kind of the way you see like branches being snapped, things being broken, it seems like they're not running for 4 days straight, you know? So they're moving at a bit of a slower pace, but they are still ahead of you. And because they're not moving as fast or erratic, the trail is not as pronounced as it was when you first saw the cart. You can still see it.
So I guess that means we're still going in the right direction.
As far as you know.
Elle is gonna ask Apoc, do you want to go higher? Do you like climbing?
I mean, I wasn't opposed to it. I grew up in an apple orchard, so I'm used to the trees, but
I mean, I could just climb up the tallest tree that I could find and see if I could get a vantage point.
Remember what happened last time you tried to climb a tree?
Yeah, did I take them down? Took them down.
No, Dennis, you did not.
Face plant or something like that.
Something like that.
it wants to. I mean, we could all climb up and take a look.
Elle is gonna look at the other bird folk in the group and just kind of ask, do you want to race?
Yeah, always. Yeah. I don't even care that you're 12 years old. It's complicated.
All right, so who is going to race up these are like redwoods, guys. Like these are huge, massive trees. Who's gonna race up a redwood?
Not Mrs. Q. Mrs. Q likes to be on the ground or below it.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right, Dace, Elle, I'm
Elle,
assuming.
definitely, yeah.
Basil, Cam, Apoc, are we racing up a tree?
Sure, so Basil will do it.
All right, Apoc.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, as you each pick a tree, Cam and Mrs. Q staying firmly on the ground. Now these, I have to Google how big these trees are.
Oh, Mrs. Quillam, I think we'll let the kids play. I'll make
Okay.
Apoc, being a little bit competitive, reaches into his pouch and sleight of hand drinks one of the potions.
Okay, which one do you drink?
I drink the one that is pure gold.
Okay. Oh, the one that's pure gold?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the one you already know what it is?
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how we're gonna do it. The tree before you is really tall. We're gonna do this in 4 rounds. As each of you take a tree of relatively the same height, kind of getting ready, kind of getting set. Apoc, sleight of hand his potion. You're not trying to let anyone see you, right, Apoc? Give me a sleight of hand roll.
Elle is also getting ready to do something kind of tricky.
It's only a 12.
It's only a 12. Dace.
My passive perception is 13.
Mine's 12.
12?
Yeah.
Basil, what's your passive?
10.
10. So out of the corner of your eye, Dace and Elle, at the very last minute, you see Apoc drink this potion really, really quick. Tuck it away. Basil is just far too competitive for this. Does your thing require spell, movement, anything like that?
Mhm.
Is it just movement?
I know it's a spell.
It's a spell? So as you prepare in the final seconds, as Cam and Mrs. Q are counting down.
Yeah, Elle had been thinking about doing this straight, but when she saw Apoc kind of get out of potion, she's going to cast Spider Climb on herself.
I knew it.
All right, I'm going to need, is there verbal somatic? Yeah. So VSM. So verbal, somatic, and material. So as you at the 2 part, you do the spell really, really quick.
All you hear is like a coo from her. That's really all you hear.
Are you trying to do it stealthily?
At this point, no.
Okay. It is very obvious Elle has cast a spell, but before you can do anything about it, Cam and Mrs. Q yell, "Go!" And I'm going to need everybody to make an athletics check, please.
Okay.
So I'm going to make an argument.
Yes.
That Elle is kind of with this spell, and she's also going to do it with a lot more flair. I'm wondering if I can roll it with acrobatics instead of athletics. I'm asking this because it would give me a huge advantage.
Can I see Spider Climb?
Yeah.
To move up, down, across vertical surfaces, upside down along ceilings while leaving its hands free.
I'm mainly just walking.
Yeah, so since it's not
Okay.
it's not super strengthy because of the spell, yes, I will give you acrobatics.
Yeah, that's what I roll.
I'm stuck.
All right, we'll go around the circle. So Elle,
16.
Apoc,
12.
Dace,
15.
and Basil.
So I didn't call it out, but this is what I was planning to do. And then I rolled. But so you can tell me if I can't do it since I didn't call it out.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But just as everyone was gonna go for it, Sir Basil flipped a coin, grabbed it, and ran for the tree. And so I called heads and rolled heads. So that's a nat 20.
So that's a nat 20. Okay. Yeah. I love how a race brings out the competitive. Okay, so with a nat 20, so there's Basil, Apoc, Elle, and Dace. So with a nat 20, Basil springs, takes the lead, and just books it up in advance of everybody else. 16 was next, I believe. Elle with her spider climb using acrobatics, I guess just puts a foot up and just starts running parallel to the ground, straight upwards, a little bit behind Basil. Dace, I believe, was at 15, and Apoc was at
12, but I don't know if the potion factors into that.
So the potion was the gold one.
Mm-hmm.
So with that potion, you treat an 18 or a 19 as a crit, but a 2 and a 3 as a crit fail.
Yeah, gotcha.
So it doesn't factor in this case, but I believe it's still going for a little bit. I'll have to check. But so far it's Basil, Elle, Dace, and Apoc for the first leg of the 4. The next leg, everybody roll again. And I will check on that potion, Apoc.
And you said it's athletics?
It'll be athletics.
Holy moly, Dace.
Gosh.
Here we go. Okay.
This dice, man.
For 1 minute, Apoc.
It's not looking so good for your hero.
Oh no. All right, again, Elle.
I got a 14.
14. Apoc.
7.
Ooh, yikes. Dace.
No.
I rolled a nat 20.
Jeez. Basil.
Roll a 5.
Oh no. All right, so making up for before, Dace is able to pull ahead as Basil slows down a little bit much, not making it quite as far. Elle, pretty consistent, is able to keep pace, but is a little bit behind Dace, a little bit ahead of Basil. And Apoc, you're having a difficult time, my dude.
Okay. I have something else I want to do next turn.
All right, next round, 3rd of 4. At the halfway point, is Cam and Mrs. Q doing anything?
Mrs. Q's just sort of like squinting through her glasses, like trying to see everyone through the branches.
So they're like 75 feet above the ground right now, just FYI.
I don't know if I can see
Oh
that.
wait, more than that, halfway. They're like 100 feet above the ground.
Do I still have the magnifying glass?
Just trying to, like,
Yes.
I'm attempting to use that.
Perfect.
I'm just looking around to make sure that the two of us don't get ambushed down here.
All right.
Cool.
Go ahead and make a perception check, Cam, and we'll just kind of keep it rolling.
11.
Good to know. So we'll keep it rolling. 3rd round. Everybody roll athletics.
Oh no.
You just hear from the back of your head, check out my Borlog. As I fire a blunted arrow at Dace.
So you need your hands to climb.
Oh, there are no branches or anything that I could sit on?
Okay, so you're gonna
I'm
pause
not moving
turn.
this round. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Straight sabotage. I love it.
Fuck.
What is it?
Oh no, it's a crit fail.
These dice are done.
Dace, you hear a thunk as a blunted arrow smacks far off to your left into the tree. Oh, that was a crit fail though.
Man.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. You're all on different trees. Okay, that was a critical fail. So Apoc, I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw.
X.
Kill
Come
him.
on. Okay, new die. 4 plus 3. No, 4 plus 5. It's a 9.
Oh, buddy. Okay. 4 plus 5. Okay. 8 was the DC.
Oh boy.
As you shoot your arrow, you lose your balance on this branch as it seems to be a little more slippery than what you thought, but you're able to kind of catch yourself at the very last minute, being nimble enough and skilled enough, at least to be able to function with 2 hands holding a bow. So you do not fall, but you do not move this round. For those who, it was a valiant effort, my dear. For those who did move, Elle, Dace, and Basil, what were your rolls?
I'll roll 12.
12. Dace.
23.
Oh boy, Basil.
18.
18.
Would Cam and I have heard the check out my ball log from down where we were?
100 feet up with Cam's perception check. It was muffled, but like just a little bit, like in the distance. You're in a forest. It's not exactly echoey in here because there's a lot of branches, but you've heard it enough that you probably would have recognized the that you heard.
So, Apoc, you hear from far below, but you can't make out the words. You say, and Mrs. P has a go at you.
Perfect. As Apoc is distracted, that's why you rolled your nat 1. As Apoc is distracted, Dace is able to pull ahead very handily, making it another 3/4 of the way up this tree. Basil is able to pull ahead of Elle just a little bit more as Elle kind of falls behind just a little bit, but it's a close race between the two of them. Apoc has fallen a little bit behind.
He's sliding down at this point.
All right, so he's going
He's
down.
not going to push his luck after almost dying.
That's fair. So as Apoc leaves the race and descends, I need one more athletics check from all of you. Acrobatics for you because of spider climb. Okay. The last roll to make it to the top of this tree.
Dude, look at these rolls.
2.
Damn, my dude.
Dace.
23 again.
I got 17.
17. As Dace smashes through the branches at the top of this redwood. being the first one and the winner of this race. Elle not too far behind, and Basil, your arms are getting tired. You're not used to being this high. The 2 bird folk are definitely superior in this particular race, but if it was a ground race, you'd be a lot better. That's your reassuring thought to yourself. But all 3 of you do manage to make it to the top of the tree. And from here, you see what you couldn't see down on the ground, which is the silhouettes at this point of massive, jagged mountains just to the northeast of you. You are 2 days out from the mountains itself, and even 2 days out, these mountains are huge. You get the sense that if you weren't in a forest this thick where you are right now, it would be quite ominous to see this towering above you. And you can see from your vantage point as well, because you can see almost 360 degrees. Turning behind you, you do see the tree of Alderheart in the distance. But you can see that you're not too far away from the forest thinning out even more. It looks like there is a section between the forest and the mountains itself where no trees grow. whether it's a marshland or just open plains. It's kind of hard to tell from here. But it looks like if you're able to push yourself, you could likely make it to the edge of the forest, maybe by the end of the day. But I don't think Dace has seen the mountains before. Elle and Basil, I don't think you have. This view is terrifying and incredible all at the same time.
From our vantage point, would we see any signs of like camps, like a smoke trail coming up from the forest or from even farther closer to the mountains?
For something this specific, I'm going to get you to make a perception check.
Sure.
And the two of you can make one as well if you want.
Elle will as well.
Okay,
8.
so Dace and Elle. What was that, Basil?
8.
8?
16.
Get rid of that dice, my dude. 16 for Dace.
About a 10.
A 10 for Elle. So looking out, Basil and Elle, you're enraptured by these mountains. It's kind of foggy. The peaks disappear in the clouds. It's beautiful, and it draws your attention probably a little more than you'd like. So even though you know you're supposed to be looking for something, you don't quite see it. Dace, as you're looking out, you do notice it's early morning, so you do notice a very thinning out smoke trail, kind of at the end of the forest. So like the edge before the plains to the mountains, pretty much. It's kind of hard to tell, like you're really having to squint and focus. And even then you think it's a smoke trail, maybe from a campfire, but it's hard to tell.
Can I gauge the distance? Like, would I know, like, oh, it's probably 20 kilometers away or something like that? Or
I don't know if like me, Andrea, can really answer that, but like judging from where you came from to now and just, the thinning of the woods, how long it took you to get, you kind of went from thinned woods to the core of the forest where everything was dense and close together to now things that are thinning out. So if it's anything like when you walked in, like it may be a day. By the end of the night, you could probably get out of the forest.
sounds good.
But other than that, you can't really tell too much.
Okay, sounds good.
Anything else before you make your way down?
I guess never mind. No, it's all good. All good.
All right. So as you're all able to kind of make your way down, some a little bit quicker than others. I'll leave it up to the bird folk if they decide they just want to jump off and glide down and leave Basil to his devices or not. But
I was going to say that. I was like, I'll grab Sir Basil and we'll glide down Batman style.
Yeah. Glides him as he glides.
Perfect.
Elle is going to stay just a moment longer looking at the mountains, and then she's going to spider climb back down.
Perfect.
Oh, that's creepy. Spider climbing down?
Yeah.
It's just
At a
Face
full
to face
sprint.
first? Or?
she's just basically walking. She's just walking down the
Parallel
tree.
to the ground.
Oh, okay,
like,
okay.
like the old Batman, just like walking. Yeah.
Amazing. But you're able to rejoin with your you're able to rejoin with Apoc, Mrs. Q, and Cam on the ground. Thankfully, it doesn't seem like anything was waiting to ambush you, but whether you noticed that or not.
When I start to see them come down, I look over to Mrs. Q and say, "What a bunch of weenies."
Beeny weenies.
Mrs. Q just rolls her eyes at everybody.
It's been a morning, eh, Mrs. Q?
Mm-hmm. This is what happens when I feed them a hearty breakfast. They have far too much energy.
That was without coffee.
Oh, it's just assumed that there's some coffee every morning.
Okay, perfect. At this point.
That I mean, the Beanie Weenies are off to the mountains now.
Is that our group? The Beanie Weenies? No complaints here.
Beeny weenies.
All right, the Beanie Weenies.
No.
So close.
I have given you all like 8 episodes. Figure it out.
This can't be the best we can come up with.
8 episodes. That's 16 weeks. As that last little debate goes on before making your way once more, I knew it was coming, Steph. Before continuing on towards the Crest Mountains, your second to last day. We are going to end it there because it is 10 o'clock. So I'm not quite at the mountains yet, unfortunately, but that'll be a good place to start when we can reconvene. And you guys got to do some cool stuff with your level